Hello, everybody. Morning. Everybody's doing great. I hope, right? I have what, 7 people here, right? Okay. Good morning, Hamsini. Good morning. What, Raghav? You said you'll not be attending today. You're attending. Plan cancelled. Raghav?
Sir, that was the other Raghav, sir.
Oh, it is the other Raghav. Okay. Right. Cool. So fine. Maybe this is the strength we're gonna have, I guess, for today. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people are only there. Fine. I think we can go. Right, let me share my screen. So last class, we all know that we completed your IUPAC naming, right? Say now today is 11th and this is 10th October, right? So yeah, we have completed your naming, and I hope everybody will be able to draw the. Everybody will be able to give the IUPAC name of any of the compound given to you, right? And you must be able to do the ulta also. Ulta in the sense, if they give you the IUPAC name, you must be able to draw the structure, right? If they give you the IUPAC name, you must be able to draw the structure. For example, if I tell you 2-hydroxy pent two hydroxy pent. Okay, let me put it as 4 hydroxy pent 2 one. Okay, if I give you the structure, if I give you this name, sorry, not the structure, if I give you this name 4 hydroxy pent 2 one, can you please draw the structure and send me in WhatsApp? Quick, people. I hope again and again we're waiting. Everybody sits with a pen and a notebook, right? Please make sure that you're writing the structure of this 4 hydroxy pent 2 one structure. It's not pent 2 one. I will call it as pentan 2 one. AN should be there. Okay, pentan 2 one. Right. So go for it. Give me the structure. Send me in WhatsApp. Quick, people. No response till now.
Sir, can I tell you the structure?
No. How will you tell me the structure? It will be difficult. It's better you click a picture and send me in WhatsApp.
Sir, I think for this one it's easy.
Yeah, this one is easy. Okay, fine. Tell me.
Sir, CH3 first, and then like single bond C, and then single bond C,
Okay.
and in the second C there's a double bond O,
Okay.
and from the third C it's single bond CH,
Okay.
and bottom it's single bond OH,
Okay.
and from the right side it's a single bond CH3.
Okay. Fine. Everything is fine. What about this carbon? This carbon is only C.
CH2, sir.
No, sir, CH2, sir.
CH2. That's it. 4 valencies. The valence should be 4. Right. So you can easily understand, people. This would have been the structure. You see, there is pent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pent, and because there is no double bond, triple bond, right? And in the second carbon atom, you have a own, that is your ketone. Now you can see in the second carbon atom, I have a ketone. In the fourth carbon atom, I have OH, that is hydroxy. In the fourth carbon atom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth carbon atom, I have a hydroxy. Okay. Now, please understand, like this also questions can come. They can give you the structure and ask you the IUPAC name, or they can give you the IUPAC name and ask you the structure. Either of these things are possible. Okay, right. So this is all I want to tell you. So for today, we will continue, or we will start with this new topic called as isomerism. Right. Now, what exactly is isomerism? Right. See, if you properly understand, for example, if you have a molecular formula of C4H8. Okay, I'm just giving you a random example. C4H8 is the molecular formula. Right. And we know in the molecular formula, I will just know how many atoms of each element is present. All I understand is 4 atoms of carbon and 8 atoms of hydrogens are present. Okay, right. Now, first things first, right? Now, please understand, when you have an alkane, there is something called as a general formula. Right? From the general formula, if you substitute the value of something, you'll be able to get the molecular formula. Right? General formula to molecular formula, you will be able to convert. I'll tell you how. First, you have to understand what is general formula. Right? Now, general formula of alkane is CnH2n plus 2. CnH2n plus 2. Now, it's very simple, right? Now, if you put n is equal to 1, can I tell I will be getting CH4? Because n is equal to 1, 2 into 1 plus 2 will become 2 plus 2 will become 4. So, the formula can be CH4. Say when I put n is equal to 2, you will be getting C2H6. C2H6 is CH3, CH3. Right? Same way I can put n is equal to 3, you will get C3H8. Like that you will be able to get. Right. So all you have to do is in the general formula, you will have this N, right? Now just substitute the values of N consecutively. You are going to get the next alkane. Okay, fine. Now, same way for an alkene, I know you must have studied this in your 10th class. It is CnH2n, right? And please understand, in an alkene, I need to have a C double bond C. Right? I need to have a C double bond C. Okay, so remember that the minimum value of N is 2. N can be greater than or equal to 2. Because with one carbon, how will I have a double bond? Right? With one carbon, double bond is not possible. But so for both alkene as well as an alkyne, N cannot be equal to 1. It should be minimum value of N should be 2. Okay, so when I put N is equal to 2, you will get C2H4. Now how it will be? CH2 double bond CH2. That is what is C2H4. Now I can have C3H6, that is N is equal to 3. You will see that I can have CH2 double bond CH3. Right? Now you can, same way for C4H8 will be there. Okay, right. Same way for an alkyne, you will see that the general formula is CnH2n minus 2. Right? So again, minimum value of N will be 2 because I cannot have a C triple bond C with one carbon. It's not possible. Right? So we'll write, for example, if I put N is equal to 2, you will get C2H2. That would be C triple bond C and a H and a H. Very, very simple. Okay, and say I can have C3H4. C3H4 will be like this. Right? So you see that there's a triple bond. Okay, fine. So these are all things you have to understand. Okay, and you see in this particular example which I have taken, C4H8, definitely does it not come under the formula CnH2n? Right? So definitely it is going to be what? It is going to be an alkene which is going to have a C double bond C. That is what? This is the first thing I need to understand. Right? By looking at the molecular formula, right? I would say by looking at the molecular formula, you have to understand whether there is any unsaturations present or not, whether it's a saturated compound or an unsaturated compound. Right? So basically you have to understand something called as degree of unsaturation. Right? There is something called as degree of unsaturation. How many pi bonds? Basically, degree of unsaturation means how many pi bonds are there. That is the degree of unsaturation. Right? If you see that in a molecule, there is only one pi bond, for example, if you have the C4H8, the degree of unsaturation is 1. Right? If at all I have one pi bond, then degree of unsaturation is I'll write DOS, degree of unsaturation, or DOU, right? Okay, 1 degree of unsaturation, 1 pi bond. So in this molecule, I have only 1 degree of unsaturation, right? So let me give you this. Okay, so when I talk about degree of unsaturation, right, what and all are the numbers you need to give, right? So if I have one C double bond C, it will give me 1 degree of unsaturation. If I have a C triple bond C, I will have 2 degrees of unsaturation, because you see there are 2 double bonds, 2 pi bonds, I would say. Okay, there is only 1 pi bond, so 1 degree of unsaturation. 2 pi bonds, 2 degree of unsaturation. Say if in the molecule I have something like this, CH2 double bond CH, C triple bond CH. Can you tell me what is the degree of unsaturation in this molecule? Looking at this molecule,
3,
can you tell?
3, sir.
3, right? Because I have 1 pi bond, 2nd pi bond, 3rd pi bond, right? So obviously you will have 3 degree of unsaturation. Degree of unsaturation is 3, right? And one more thing you have to understand, one ring, if you have, that also will give me 1 degree of unsaturation. Right. Now, let me tell you this. Okay. Now, see, you have taken C4H8 as the example. Right. Now, for this C4H8, I can write a normal straight chain structure like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. CH2, CH3. Okay. Normal straight chain structure with a double bond. Right. Now, please understand. Now, how will you name this compound? Quickly tell me. What is the name of this compound?
Ethene, sir.
Bute-1-ene.
Butene.
Bute-1-ene. That is the correct name. Right. Now for the same molecular formula, I can write another structure, right? CH3, CH double bond CH, CH3. Now what is the name of this compound?
Bute-2-ene.
It is called Bute-2-ene. Same molecular formula. Same molecular formula, structure 1 Bute-1-ene, structure 2 Bute-2-ene. I can even draw this structure, right? Now what is the name of this compound?
2-methyl-prop-2-ene.
Prop-1-ene. This is the first carbon.
Prop-1. Okay, sorry.
Okay, now in the second carbon, I have a methyl group. So 2-methyl and the other things remain same. Prop-1-ene. Same C4H8. Right. Now one more thing I'll tell you. C4H8, these three are the straight chain structures. I can even have a cyclobutane. You will see that all these are CH2s. CH2, 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 CH2. Again, you see that there's going to be C4H8. Okay, now let me tell you this. For a cycloalkane, the general formula is CnH2n. I'm telling about alkane when you don't have any double or triple bonds. Okay, when you have an alkane, sorry, not alkane, cycloalkane, then also the the general formula becomes CnH2n. Right? So is it not equal to alkene? Right? Alkene also has CnH2n. Right? Now that is the reason why I tell you that when you have a ring, that gives me 1 degree of unsaturation. But when you have, say, one ring and a pi bond, say 1 pi bond, then the degree of unsaturation becomes 2. Why? Because one ring itself, 1 unsaturation. For 1 pi bond, another unsaturation. For example, say if you have a compound like this, right? What is the degree of unsaturation of this molecule?
2.
Very simple, because I have one ring, that is 1, and entirely one ring, 1 degree of unsaturation. I have a double bond also, that will have 1 unsaturation, that is 2. Right? Say if I have, 1 second. If I have something like this, then what is the degree of unsaturation?
3, sir.
3.
3. Very simple. Entire ring, 1 double bond, second double bond, 2 unsaturation, totally 3. Yes, Suprajit, tell me your doubt.
Sir, in cyclobutane, you mean to say there is 1 degree of unsaturation?
1 degree of unsaturation, correct. When I don't have anything also, just this has 1 degree of unsaturation.
Sir, but there are no pi bonds, right?
Exactly, but still, since it is following the molecular or general formula of an alkene I know has 1 double bond, right? So even though the double bond is not there, but somehow I make a ring with this molecular formula, with this general formula. So that's why we consider it as degree of unsaturation.
Okay, sir.
Okay, right, fine. So these are the things you have to understand, people. How do you calculate the degree of unsaturation? Right, now these are for definitely only hydrocarbons. Right, now I can have some functional groups coming also. Okay, now obviously, what are the other things possible? You can have a C double bond O present. Now again, that will give me 1 degree of unsaturation. Right, again, C double bond O can be a ketone or an aldehyde, or it can be an acid. Either of this. Right, say for example, in this molecule, if I ask you COOH, CH double bond CH, CH3. If I ask you what is the degree of unsaturation, what will be your answer? What will be your answer? If I have COOH, CH double bond CH and CH3, what is the degree of unsaturation? 2. Very simple, right? Because you see there is a double bond, 1 degree of unsaturation. Now this COH, how do you write it? COOH, right? Again, you see there's a double bond. Therefore, this there is 1 degree of unsaturation. Totally 2 degree of unsaturations. Okay, I hope everybody is following. Very, very easy. Very, very. The moment you see it up by pi bond, 1 pi bond, 1 degree of unsaturation. Now that there'll be an exception when I go for a ring. ring alone, even though there is no double bond, or, I mean, there is no pi bond, still will give 1 degree of unsaturation to the ring. Okay, right? So by looking at the molecular formula, whatever be the molecular formula, first you have to understand whether it's a saturated compound or an unsaturated compound. If it is an unsaturated compound, what is the degree of unsaturation? 3 things. First thing is whether it's a saturated or unsaturated. Saturated means no problem. Second, if it is unsaturated, what is the degree of unsaturation? Or that also you need to know. Okay, right. Say if I give you this C4H8O, right, and C4H10O, right? Now, can you just blindly look at this and tell me which will be saturated and which will be unsaturated? Which will be saturated?
C4H10O will be saturated.
Good, right? Why? Because you can easily see that C4H10 is coming under CnH2n plus 2. So definitely there cannot be any pi bond here. So this would be a saturated compound. And definitely you see that there are C4H8O, and that definitely is going to have unsaturated. And what is the degree of unsaturation? Can you predict and tell me by looking at the molecular formula itself?
2, sir.
2. How will it be 2? It will be 1. C4H8, if it is not there, assume that this is not there. If it was just C4H8, means what? That is a butene. Only 1 double bond will be there, right? So definitely here, the degree of unsaturation, whether you have O or whether it doesn't have O, the degree of unsaturation is 1. Do you get the point? Everybody gets the point?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
Here, the degree of unsaturation is 1 only. Okay, so first thing is you have to understand this for me to understand isomerism, for me to do the isomerism. Okay, now see this. Now that you understood all this, now see for C4H8, how many structures I drew? 1 molecular formula only, C4H8 only, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you draw any other structure with C4H8? There is 1 more structure missing. Can anybody tell me what will be the structure? For C4H8, there is 1 more structure which you will be able to draw.
So can you show the before structures?
This one, right? I can make it small for you. Yeah. Right. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. There is 1 more possible. Anybody has predicted?
Sir, is it branching in the endpoints?
Is it branching in the
Endpoints.
branching at the endpoints? Okay, that's a common mistake everybody does. Now people say one more carbon also. Just a moment, people. Just a moment. Just a moment. Yeah. Sorry, guys. What is the chat about? Sorry, sir. I joined late. I was having some internet issues. No problem, Shahid. No problem, Shayan. If you're not able to follow anything, please let me know. I'll help you. Okay. Right. So what I was telling is, if I have say 5 carbon atoms, right? Now this is my pent. Right. Now see, I will be able to make it but by making sure that one of the carbon atoms can be in the branch. Now remember, people, branching cannot happen at terminal positions. Why? I'll tell you it. Okay, branching cannot happen at terminal positions. For example, I can write CH3, CH3, CH2, CH3. Right now, see, if I remove this CH3 and put it as a branch at the terminal position, what will happen?
Long chain is going to differ.
Nothing, it will go back to the same compound, right? Is it not simple, people? This, you remove this branch and put a hydrogen, right? You remove this branch and instead of this, you'll get a hydrogen here, CH2, and I'm going to put the branch here, CH2, CH2, CH3. Now, just because you put it down doesn't mean that it is a branch, Kana, right? You please understand that this compound and this compound are exactly same. Again, still the main chain is this. Do you understand why we should not put the branching in terminal positions? Okay, if you put the branching in the terminal position, it will become the next higher homologous series. The sense that butane will become a pentane, pentane will become a hexane. That you should not do. All you can do is reduce the root word. Pent can become bute, bute can become prop, right? But pent cannot become hex or pent cannot become hep. That is not possible. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. That means that option is ruled out. So anybody else has any other answers for this? What is the remaining structure? One more structure is remaining. I can write for C4H8. What
Sir,
it can
the
be?
normal structural formula, like we expand and write now, sir. Can that be the one?
Yeah, that is what you did here. That same thing only you did for all of these things. From the molecular formula, I expanded. I wrote the structural formulas. That's exactly what I did here.
So
Right?
I meant for the C then bonded with H's in the, sir, I don't know how to explain that. May I send a
You
photo?
type it. You just write it in your notebook and send me. I'll check.
Okay.
Yeah, send me in WhatsApp.
Sir, in the
Yeah.
2-methyl prop-1-ene, over there we
2-methyl
can,
prop-1-ene. Okay, here.
yeah, we can have a branch of a functional group, say
Functional
OH,
group?
I mean.
See, you cannot violate the molecular formula. The molecular formula should be C4H8. There should be 4 carbons, 8 hydrogens. With that, if you can do any modification, tell me. You cannot just put randomly any functional group and tell that it is an isomer. I mean, I don't want to use the name isomer, but you cannot call it under this particular molecular formula.
Okay, sir.
Right? The molecular formula C4H8 should be C4H8 in all the molecules, whatever you're writing.
Sir, have you got it? I've sent it to you.
Yeah, just now. Yes, got it. Okay. Now what you wrote is this structure only, right? This structure you expanded it and wrote, in the sense that how did you expand it? Instead of writing CH2 like this, you wrote like this, right? Same way,
Yes,
double
sir.
bond with the CH, CH, H, CH, H, H, and H. This and this are exactly same.
Okay, sir.
Right? Okay. Guys, please understand, how will you know whether two structures are same or different? The easiest way is to write their IUPAC names, right? If you find that the IUPAC names of two compounds are same, that means it is wrong. That means you have done two structures repeatedly, right? But if at all the structures you got, if all of their IUPAC names are different, then you are doing it correctly. Okay, this will be but1-ene. If you name this compound also, it is going to be but1-ene, right? Or if at all you have asked me, instead of this particular structure which I wrote here, I can even write like this: CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH2. Right? Now, if you tell me, sir, the double bond is here, now the double bond is there, these two are two different compounds, absolute crap. What is the name of this compound? What is the name of this compound?
Sir.
Again, it is but1-ene only. Right? Like these kind of mistakes you should not do. You should not tell that these two structures are different structures. Two different isomers. Again, I'm using isomers. I didn't introduce you to, but still, I'm telling you, these are isomers. Okay, these should be two different IUPAC names for all structures you write. Right? Fine. Anyways, Anybody has an answer? What is one structure which can be made out of this? Still one more structure can be remaining. Anybody got
Sir,
it?
1 minute.
Still, how many people are there? Here. Okay, now I have enough participants, I guess.
Sir, what is the molecular formula?
C4H8. Okay, 10 more seconds. I'll give you, and then I'll give you the answer.
No, sir, I didn't get.
Okay, so the remaining structure is a cyclopropane ring, but still I have accounted for only for 3 carbons, right? What is the other one? Where is the one more carbon? People, can you tell me?
Methyl, sir.
Exactly. Done. This will also be C4H8. Okay,
Sir,
calculate.
actually, I got the same thing, but I put a double bond in one of the triangles, so that's why I got it wrong.
Okay, double bond if you keep, it will become 2 degrees of unsaturation, right? I have only degree of unsaturation to be 1. The ring itself will give me 1 degree of unsaturation. That is why I told you degree of unsaturation is very, very important.
Sir, I was getting C4H6.
Exactly, because the ring itself would have had 1 degree of unsaturation. Will you put a double bond, then obviously it becomes 2 degrees of unsaturation. That the molecular formula will be different. Okay, right? This is the structure again. Check. This is CH2. This is CH2. This is CH. I have removed 1 hydrogen, put a CH3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 carbons. 2, 4, 5 plus 3, 8. C4H8. Easy, right? Okay, right. Now, guys, this whatever we are doing here is what is called as isomerism. Right now is the right time for me to give you the the definition of isomerism. Please take down. Very, very important. I'm giving you the definition of isomerism. Please take down. It is a phenomenon. I will not call it as phenomenon. Or what should I exactly call it? Fine. Okay. It's a phenomenon where isomerism is a phenomenon where compounds have same molecular formula. Then it is a phenomenon where compounds have same molecular formula but different structures, or different orientations of atoms, in the 3D space, or different orientations of atoms in 3D space. So I'll repeat the entire statement once again. Please check it. Right? It is a phenomenon where compounds having same molecular formula but having different structures or different orientations of atoms in 3D space. right? Generally in your school, they would have told it as same molecular formula, but different structural formula, right? But that is not the end of it. The second part, same molecular formula, but different structural formula, that alone is not isomerism. Even if you have same molecular formula, same structural formula, but if the orientations of atoms are different, then also you will call it as isomerism, right? Now look at this. For example, right? For example, if you have C double bond C, CH3, H, CH3, H, right? Okay. Now you see C double bond C, CH3, CH3, H, and H. Now same molecular formula, almost same structure, but you see the orientations. Here, CH3 and CH3 are here. Here again, this is not different structure. Okay, let me give you another very good difference now. Say, assume that I have OH, Cl, and say another one is say NH2, something. Okay, so I have 4 different groups attached to this carbon, right? I know this wedge and dash, what they represent. The wedge represents the bond is coming towards you. The dashed line coming, it's going away from me. Okay, it is coming towards me, going away from me. Right. Now see, if you place a mirror here, this is a mirror. Okay, if you place a mirror here, you will see that you will get a structure like this, right? Is it not? Right? If this was a mirror, these two are my mirror images. Is it not? Right. Now, you see the same IUPAC name will come. If you do the IUPAC name for both of them, the IUPAC name will be same. Right? For both of them, the IUPAC name will be same, but still these are called as isomers. Again, the proper name, these are what are called as optical isomers. We'll study about in detail, but I'm just telling you, having just a different chemical formula, different molecular formula and structural formula alone is not sufficient criteria. Sometimes even like this, when you have mirror images, right, they can also be called as isomers. Okay, they can also be called as isomers because their properties are different. Okay, maybe they will react similarly. The chemical properties are same, say most of the physical properties are same, but still one property will be different. Okay, one property will be different, and it's very important. Very, very, very important. This, whatever the optical isomers I'm talking about. Okay, right. So that is what I'm trying to tell you in the form of definition. It can be either different structural formula or it can be different orientations of atoms in 3D space. Either of them are different. Then you will call them isomers, and the process or the phenomenon is what is called as isomerism. Okay, fine. Now what we'll do is we'll see what are all the different types of isomerism I can have. Okay, now isomerism can be broadly classified into configurational isomerism and conformational isomerism. Okay, it's not OI, it is O. Okay, not confirm, it is conform. Okay, anyways, so configurational and conformational isomerism are the 2 types of isomerism, right? Configurational isomerism, there will be change in the structural formula. Same molecular formula, but different structures, right? In conformational isomerism, but that is not the correct way of saying it. But still, I can call this way. No, this is not the correct way of putting it. Okay, right? So fine. You will understand the difference between configurational and conformational in a while. But for now, understand that there are going to be 2 different isomerisms. One is configurational, the other one is conformational. Okay, conformational is not that important to us, but still it is there in the syllabus, but not so in depth. Okay, but conformational isomerism will study, but most of the isomerism you will study will come under configurational isomerism. Okay, now this configurational isomerism can again be further classified into Stereoisomerism, and what is the other isomerism? Oh God, how can I even forget this?
Structural isomerism.
Okay, it's structural isomerism only. Fine. I thought that was a wrong name to use. Anyways, structural isomerism and stereoisomerism. Okay, now I think from the name which we can understand, structural means difference in structural formula. Here I can tell this. Right? Structural isomerism means there will be an entirely different structure altogether. Right? Now, if it is going to be stereoisomerism, orientation will be different. Here it will be orientation difference. Here it will be structural formula difference. Even conformational isomerism, it is somewhere regarding orientation only, but it is little different from stereoisomerism. Okay, we'll come to that later. Okay, we will not concentrate on this for now. We will concentrate on configurational, right? So in configuration, I say that there are going to be two types under configuration. One is structural, another one is stereo. Okay, right. Now, under stereo, okay, first under structural, you have again different types. One is what is called as position isomerism, right? Position structural isomerism. I have something called as chain isomerism. I have something called as ring chain isomerism. Okay, right. Then I can have metamerism. And at last, but the important one is tautomerism. Okay, and one more is there, functional. Okay, position, chain, ring chain, metamerism, tautomerism, and functional isomerism are the ones which comes under structural isomerism. We'll see one by one, don't worry. Okay, we'll see all of them in depth. Okay, right. Now,
So
when
what is the one after metamerism?
tautomerism,
Okay,
T-A-U-T-O merism.
got it.
Okay, right. And then if you go to stereoisomerism, there can be two types. One is what is called as geometrical isomerism. The other one is what is called as stereoisomerism is what. The another one is what is called as optical isomerism. We just discussed what is optical isomerism, right? We'll see it in detail, but not here in your 12th class, right? Optical.
Sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, what is after ring chain in structure?
A ring chain is metamerism, M-E-T-A merism, metamerism. Okay, M-E-T-A merism, metamerism. Okay, right. So in your 11th class, we'll be seeing all of these: position chain, ring chain, metamerism, tautomerism, and functional isomerism, and you will be seeing geometrical isomerism. Right? Optical isomerism alone, we will see in your 12th class. You can see it now, but we will not have time also, right? So it's good that they have separated this separately into your 12th. So optical isomerism alone we'll see in 12th. All the other types, even configurational, we'll see in 11th. This will be in 11th only. Configurational will be 11th. Only optical isomerism will study in 12th class. Okay, right, fine. So first we'll start with structural, and then we'll move on to stereo. Okay, structural is very easy. Okay, even stereoisomerism, everything is easy only, right? I want to know what is the time. Okay, we have time, right? Okay, right. So starting with position isomers. Right, position isomerism. Right, now people, right, see, from the name of the isomerism itself, you will be able to get so much data, so much information. Okay, so when I say position, right, when I say position, I am going to have two compounds having same molecular formula, but their position of functional groups or branching is different. For example, you took but1ene and but2ene. Now you see, the only difference is where the double bond is. The double bond here is in first carbon. Here the double bond is in second carbon. Right? So these two, I will call it as position isomers.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, double bonds and triple bonds will come under functional groups. Sir.
Yeah. Generally, right? We take them under functional groups. And that is what I mean by functional groups also. Right? Branching will obviously be branching means CH3. Only this will be different. Right? Other functional group, OH, this thing, all these things will again be different in a position isomer. So I can give you one more example. Say for example, I can take CH2OH, CH2, CH3. Now this is what butan 1-all, sorry, not but, sorry, propan. Propan 1-all. Now I can even write the same molecular formula. Everything will be same, but I can put the OH in the second carbon atom. Now it becomes propan 2-all. Is it not? Again, I will call these two as position isomers. Okay, so what are position isomers? Same molecular formula, almost same structure, but the only difference is in the numbers. Right? Numbers means where. Right? Now this where, that is the number, can be different for prefix or for a suffix. Right? So what I'm trying to tell you is, you write the names of these two position isomers, right? You have position isomers, you write their IUPAC names, everything will be the same except for the numbers. Now what are you seeing? That's exactly what you're seeing here. But, where is it? Okay, butene is there, but here the number is 1, here the number is 2. But1-ene, but2-ene. Same way, everything else is same between these two except for the number propan 1-all and propan 2-all. Okay, now another example, say I can give you like this. Okay, now how will you name this compound? Quickly tell me. Name of the compound.
One comma two.
Sir, 1,2 dimethyl cyclopropane.
Cyclopentane.
Pentane.
Pentane, yes, sir.
Right, because I'm embroidering. Right, now I can draw different structural isomers. Sorry, different position isomers. Right, now what will you see again for AEF? Again, name this compound. This compound, you name it.
1,1 dimethyl.
1,1 dimethyl again cyclopentane. This is
1,3 dimethyl cyclopentane.
exactly. Right, now what you understand, people, everything is same. This particular word, this particular dimethyl cyclopentane is same, only the numbers are different. Right, again, all of them, all these three, I can call them as position isomers. Only the position of the branch or the position of the functional group is the only difference. Rest all are same. Okay, right? Everybody understood what is position isomerism? Anybody wants one more example? Anybody needs? Okay, one more example. One more example. Okay, it's gonna be easy. Just give me save. Okay. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now you will see that again. Can you name this compound quickly? First one and second one. Both of them you name it.
Sir, pent 1,2, sorry, 1,4 diene.
Pent 1,4 diene. This would be pent
1,3 diene.
2,4 diene.
Sir,
Right,
1,3.
1,3.
Oh yeah, abs are very shrewd, very shrewd people. 1, 2, 3. Absolutely, yes. It's 1,3 diene. Now it is going to be 1,4 diene. Again,
Sir,
everything.
another structure can also come, right?
Yeah, another structure can also come. Why not? I can put this one also. Okay. Now, instead of putting 2 double bonds, again, for all of them, degree of unsaturation is 2. Is it not? Right? Because 2 double bonds means 2 unsaturations, 2 double bond, 2 unsaturation, 1 triple bond again means 2 unsaturation. But this, I cannot call it as position isomer. Right? This, I will call it as functional isomer or functional isomerism, I'll call it. Now, I think from the name which you can understand, for functional isomerism, same molecular formula, but different functional group itself. Okay, here the functional group is alkene. Here the functional group is an alkyne, but same molecular formula. But anyways, we're not looking into the detail now. Is this what this is the structure you're looking at, Kana, Suprajit, or any structures you have in mind?
Sir, I think I have one other, but the molecular formula will change.
Molecular formula will change. Okay, cool.
Sir, I'm not sure, sir.
Yeah, you can tell me what you got.
Sir, the first normal pentane structure, and then in the third carbon, there's no hydrogen and double bond on both the sides.
1 second. First carbon, CH3.
Yes, sir. CH3, CH, and then double bond, C.
CH double bond, C.
And again double bond, CH, and then CH3. I think the molecular.
Yeah, I think it will be fine. Same molecular formula. It is correct. Okay.
Okay, sir.
It is correct. Okay, but yeah, this will also be position isomer. But the thing is, when you have C double bond C, whenever you have this kind of structures, they are alkenes only, but they are special type of alkenes. Okay, they are what are called as allenes. Okay, but yeah, your answer is correct. All these 3 are position isomers. Okay, all these 3 are position isomers, but again, you will see that only the numbers will be different. Rest all will be same. But I don't know whether you can call this, but yeah, theoretically, yes, definitely all these are position isomers. But this one is a special case called as allenes. When you have C double bond C like this continuously, they're called as allenes. But anyways, we don't have to go to the details. Okay,
so that would be
that
would come under positional isomer.
Yeah, this will come under position isomers only. Yes.
Oh, this will okay.
Yeah, that is C double bond C. The whatever the structure we wrote here. Yes, that will come under position isomers only. Okay, right, fine. So I think everybody understood position isomers. Okay, right. Now next we'll see is my chain isomers or chain isomerism. Right now, people, 2 compounds having same molecular formula but different root words is the exact thing you have to look for. Right there, in case of position isomers, I told you it is the same molecular formula but different numbers which you give for prefix and suffix. Right, but here people, same molecular formula, numbers obviously will be same or different, I don't know, but definitely the root word will be different. If one is spent, the other can be but. Right? Say now, I think you are able to guess whatever I'm saying. For example, if you had this one, now you will see that it is actually going to be C4H10. Okay, it is going to be C4H10. Now you see that it is butane. I know, we all know it is butane. Right. Now this same molecular formula, I can write like this also. I can put make the main chain as 3 and put 1 branch. Right. Now this becomes what? Propane, or now it becomes 2-methyl propane. Right. Now you see here it is but, here it is prop, but same molecular formula. So these 2, I will call them as chain isomers. I'll call them as chain isomers. Okay, right, fine. Now what you do is, I am going to take C5H12, right, C5H12, write all the possible structures. For C5H12, go for it. I'll give you 2-3 minutes time. Okay, but one second. But before we move on, I will give you another example for chain isomerism. Right now, the another example which I've already done here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? C4H8, we wrote 3 structures, right? Look at this, people. Now these two are position isomers. No problem, but1 and but2. But if I compare, say, the second compound and the third compound, right? Now these two again will become chain isomers, because you see here it is but, here it is prop. Again, it is going to be chain isomers. Hope you're all able to get what I'm trying to say. Chain length is different. That's why we call it as chain isomers. Okay, right? Now this and this, we cannot call them as chain isomers. They'll be coming under a different name. Can you guess what will be the name? If I compare, can I compare compound number 3 and compound number 4? They are ring chain isomerism. Straight chain structure and the cyclic structure having the same molecular formula. That comes under ring chain isomerism. Good, good. Anyways, so to go for C5H12, right? Go for C5H12, write all the possible structure. Or let me make it little interesting. Fine, okay. Go for C5H12. We'll take the same next example later.
Sir, can you tell there are how many molecular structures possible?
I don't know. Maybe 1.
All the isomers, sir, or just the
all the isomers, or whatever you can think of. Just write. And
sir, can we do the chain thing? A chain in the sense, sorry, the cyclo.
Check whether is cyclostructure possible with this C5H12 first.
No, sir.
No, sir.
What is the degree of unsaturation of this molecule?
0.
0. It doesn't have any unsaturation. So ring structure, if I put, that means you will put one unsaturation. That is wrong. Okay, even if you try, you will not get. The molecular formula will not match if you have a ring structure for this particular case.
So I
sir?
got 3 structures.
How many structures, Kanna? Yes.
I got 3, sir.
3 structures. Okay. Anybody else got higher number of structures? Everybody got only 3?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I got 4.
You got 4? Okay. I don't know which is correct. Let me check.
Sir,
Right.
should I send it to you?
No. Just have it. Just check whether it is right or wrong. I'm going to do it now. Okay.
Actually, no, sir. Even I got
Okay,
3
sir.
only.
You got 3 only? Okay, fine. Let
Yes,
us check. Say C5H12, no unsaturation, people. Cn, H2n, +2 is what we have. Right? So now I will have normal structure CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. Done. Right? Now, I cannot have any position isomers here, right? There is no possibility of having a position isomer here. Right? But I can make it into a 4. I can make the 5 chain structure to a 4 chain structure. 4 like this. CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. Okay. Now I have to account for one more carbon. Now you remember that you cannot put the branch here and here. If you put the branch here or here, it becomes the same compound, pentane. Right? So the only possibility you have is putting the structures here. Right? And you can put it either here or here. And if you put it here, for example, the name will be different, right? It is going to be what? 2-methyl-butane. 2-methyl-butane is what I have. And even if I have put it here, then also it would have been 2-methyl-butane. So if you tell me this is one structure and you put another methyl group here and tell me that there's another structure, no, it is wrong. Right? Now, how will you... One second. Okay. So how will you determine whether you have same compound written twice or thrice? After each and every isomer you write, give it the IUPAC name. That is the easiest way of doing this. Okay, give it the IUPAC name. If you find that 2 of them are having same IUPAC name, means you just strike one of them off because they're same compound. Only one of them exists. Okay. Anyways, so now I have made the 4-membered ring through a 5 not ring, 5-membered structure to a 4-membered structure. So can I say these two are chain isomers? Right now, I can make the 5-membered ring to a, sorry, the 4-membered structure to a 3-membered structure, right? Now I have to account for 2 more carbon atoms, right? Now there is no other choice than to put both the carbon atoms in this particular carbon only. I told you branching cannot and will never happen at the end, at the terminal positions, right? So all of you guess correctly. I have 3 isomers and all of them are chain isomers. All of them are chain isomers.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Can you draw the structure for 2 ethyl propane?
2 ethyl propane. It is actually one. Fine, I'll write it for you.
Sir, and the structure for 2 methyl
Sir, that
butane.
for this 2 ethyl propane, the chain length will actually differ.
5.
Yes,
exactly.
sir.
Exactly.
Sir,
right.
and the structure for 2 methyl butane. So both of them are same only, right?
Both of them are same. Exactly. This is not the name you give. Anyways, if you write this, this is what you're trying to say, right? Now,
yes,
this is this. What is the main chain? Main chain is this. Okay, main chain is this. So you cannot consider ethyl as a branch. You should consider what? Methyl as a branch.
Okay, sir. Got it.
That becomes 2-methyl. Basically, it will be what? 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 2-methyl butane. That's exactly what you have here. Okay, right?
Okay,
you
sir.
cannot call them as isomers because this compound is not even a name. This is not even a name you can call. Okay, right. Moving on to next example. Say I have okay, actually let me teach you all the others, right? All the others, and then we can do some normal examples. Okay, I hope everybody gets it, right? No, is anybody having doubt in position and chain isomers? Or let me do this. I have C2H4Cl2. Okay, C2H4Cl2. Can you write all the possible structures? Now, first tell me whether this compound is saturated or unsaturated. Is this compound saturated or unsaturated?
Unsaturated.
That means, is there a double bond or triple bond?
Saturated, sir.
It is saturated. Now, see, whenever you have this chlorine kind of stuff, what you do, you include along with hydrogen. You include it along with hydrogen. Say basically it's like this, right? CH3, CH3. Now I remove 2 hydrogens and I can put 2 chlorines here. Does this mean that I have a double bond? No, right? I am replacing the hydrogens with the functional.
Sir, I think only one structure is possible for this.
Really? Only one structure possible? So I hope, like first thing, hope you understood how is it not an unsaturated compound, it is saturated compound, doesn't have a double or triple bond. Yes, everybody is clear with that point, right? It is not a unsaturated compound, it is a saturated compound. Why? Because it is like CH3, CH3, and I remove 2 hydrogens and I put a chlorine. That's it. Right? So it becomes a saturated compound only. Okay, fine. Go on. Only one structure? Anybody else has got any other higher number of structures?
Sir, only 2 structures. Oh, sorry, 1 structure.
Only one structure. Okay. I'm expecting 2 structures. Okay. The answer is 2. Somehow get the other structure.
Okay, sir, I got it, sir.
You got it? Okay. Have it. Anybody else got 2? Okay, it shouldn't be taking this much time. The first structure is like this: CH3, C, Cl, Cl, and a H. That's it.
Even I got 2, sir. Yes.
This is fine. So
Yes, sir.
what is restricting you to put one carbon, one chlorine, one carbon, the other chlorine, other carbon? That can also be a structure, right? Right. The second structure is this. Right? Either the 2 chlorine atoms the same carbon or say different carbon. So this is 1, this is 2. And what isomers are they? What isomers are they?
Sir, positional.
Yes, they are positions. You can blindly tell. Just look at the IUPAC name. What is the IUPAC name of this? 1,1 dichloroethane, right? This is first carbon, 1,1 dichloroethane. For this, what's the name? 1,2 dichloroethane. 1,2 dichloroethane. Again, you see dichloroethane, same. Only the difference is in the numbers. So these two are position isomers. Yes, is everybody okay? Fine. I hope everybody is following. Please tell me if you don't get anything. Even the simplest of points, or I didn't understand this, please tell me again. I will tell you. Okay, please do not hesitate. Right? So I hope everybody is now clear with position and chain isomers. Right? Now I can have a combination of position and chain isomers also. Right? That we'll see in some other example. Right? Okay. Moving on to ring chain isomers or ring chain isomerism. And I think we all know, right? Now for this, at least 1 degree of unsaturation should be there. Okay, alkanes will not be able to give this ring chain isomerism, right? At least 1 degree of unsaturation should be there for these molecules, right? For not these molecules, for ring chain isomerism to occur. Okay, right? Say I think we understood that when I have C3H6, or the only 2 possibilities of structure can be this. Okay, one is a straight chain structure. This is another ring chain structure. So these two are what are called as ring chain isomers. These are what are called as ring chain isomers. Only these two are possible. No other things are possible. Okay. Now, say if I tell you I have C5H10, can you bring me all the possible structures? All possible structures. Position, chain, ring chain. All these three things are possible here. Okay, bring out all the possibilities. And once you're done, maybe you can click a picture and send me also. I'll check.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, go
Just
on.
a confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
For the ring chain isomers, there are only two structures, right? Only the ring and the chain structure. Or
For ring chain isomers, no, don't worry about. See, I don't know how many structures you will get, but so many straight chain structures you will get,
yeah, sir.
right? And say, I don't know, so many ring structures also you will get.
Sir, I got 3 ring structures.
I don't know, whatever be the number.
I got 4,
right?
sir.
So these two, all of them, this with this, this with this, this with this, any combination you take, all of them are ring chain isomers. Do you understand what I'm telling?
Sir, do you mean like from the straight chain and the ring chain, if you like compare it with and see, you get only two of them? I didn't get it, sir.
See, the only criteria is same molecular formula, right? But one is a chain, the other is a ring. That is, one is a straight chain, the other is a ring. This criteria you satisfy any two things or any three things, you can call them as ring chain isomers. But one should be a ring, one should be a chain. That's what you have to understand.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Okay, maybe if I give you this example, then if you complete this example, you'll get a better picture. Okay, don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Right. So yeah, how many total structures, people? Totally how many?
6, sir.
Totally 6. Okay, anybody has a lesser number, higher number?
I got 9, sir.
Got 9. Okay, anybody else?
So for now, straight chain structure, I got 3 and then 1 ring structure.
Okay, totally 4. Okay. Anybody else has any other number? Okay. Maybe I'll give you 1 more minute to check any other possibilities are there. And I want everybody to participate. It is the same people's voices I'm hearing. And when I call your names also, you don't respond, right? What should I say? Anyways, whomever wants to get benefited will get benefited. Whomever is Suma sitting and then just logging in and doing something else, the loss is yours. Okay. You really don't understand what is the quality of chemistry we are learning in this. Okay. tell your friends who you like, obviously you classmates know who are not listening, who are not listening. Tell them, okay, tell them that this is a really high quality of chemistry. Eventually, initially it will be difficult for you to listen, but once you start listening, you will eventually like it. That's the point, right? When I asked you in the initial class, the first class, how many of you like chemistry? Most of you said not chemistry, right? But I hope now that chemistry is at least not in the hate list. You don't hate it, but you don't like it also. It is at least that level. Or for some of you, it might even drastically change from, say, from the subject you hate to the subject you love. I don't know for how many of it happened. If it happened, well and good, right? All those are happening because you are showing interest. It's not only about me, how I teach. When you show interest, everything will become interesting, and you love it. Right. Anyways.
Sir, I've sent you in WhatsApp.
Oh, you sent me in WhatsApp. Let me check. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, the ring structures are perfect, but the straight chain structure still something can come. Okay, fine. I think I'll do it now. Right. So I have C5H10, right? Okay, let us concentrate on the straight chain structures first, and then we'll go to ring structures. Okay, now say structure number 1 can be normal pentene, and again pentene, where you put the double bond again matters. I can put the double bond in the first carbon atom itself, right? Or I can put it in the second carbon atom. These are still ring membered, 5-membered ring. I'm sorry, 5-membered chains, right? Done, right? Now these two, 1 and 2, I'll call them as what isomers?
Positional isomer.
Position isomers, right? Because you will see that this is pent 1-ene, this is pent 2-ene. That's only the numbers are changing, right? Okay, now that is the only, can I have it here? Can I put the double bond in the third carbon atom here? Can I put it?
No, sir.
Okay, if you put it, it is going to be the same compound. You just try, okay? CH3, CH2, CH, double bond CH, CH3. Again, you start numbering from here, 1, 2. Again, this is going to be what? Pent 2-ene only. So this is redundant. We will not have it. This doesn't exist any day. Means it is the same compound. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so 2 structures done. Now these are the only possibilities with pent. Now I'll go for bute. Basically, I am moving to chain isomers. I'm moving to chain isomers. I'm decreasing the chain length. 5 can become 4, 4 can become 3. 3 cannot become 2. Please understand. Okay, fine. So now 5 I'll try to make it 3, and I can put a double bond. Say CH2, first carbon atom itself, let it have a double bond. CH2, C, CH2, CH3. Now I have to account for 1 more carbon atom. Okay, now 1 more carbon atom in the form of CH3, I can put it here. Okay, now again 1, 3 and 2, 3, right? I just take a pair. 1, 3 and 2 and 3 are definitely going to be called as what isomers?
Chain isomers.
Chain isomers, because their chain length is different. Here it is pent, here it is bute, here it is pent, here it is bute. Okay, right. Now let me take structure number 4. Now I will fix the double bond in the first position only, right? But I'll shift the methyl group to the third position. CH2, double bond CH, CH, CH3, CH3. Now tell me, 3 and 4 are what isomers?
Positional.
Yes, right. Only the position of the methyl group. Now name this compound. It is 2-methyl bute 1-ene, right? In the second carbon atom, 1, 2. 2-methyl bute 1-ene. Here it will become 1, 2, 3. 3-methyl again bute 1-ene. Same thing. So position is.
Sir?
These two are position. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, can the double bond come in middle?
Yes, coming to that. Why not? Coming. Now we have fixed the double bond in the first and second carbon atom. Now, any other possibility is there for moving methyl group? Can I move methyl group to the last carbon atom? Can I do that?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. If you do that, it is going to become this compound again. That is the first compound again. You'll see methyl group moving to the last position will make the first compound again. So that is not right. So now let me now move the double bond. Okay. Now double bond, let me move it between second and third carbon atom. Now I have to account for one methyl group. I have to account for one more carbon. Right. Now again, these two positions are done. You cannot put it there. Right. Either you can put it here or here. And either where you put, anywhere, I mean, either this position or this position you put the methyl group, it is going to be same. Again, if you name it, you will get it Y. Right. Say I will put it here. This hydrogen is not there. I have put a CH3. Okay. Right. Now tell me, 4 and 5 are what isomers?
Positional, sir.
Yes, position isomers. Very simple. In this case, both the position of double bond as well as the CH3 is changing. Right. Again, if you name this compound, how will you name this? It is going to be 2-methyl but 2-ene. Right. Now everything is same. Methyl butene is same. Only these numbers are changing. Right. But if I ask you, what is the connection between 1 and 5? Look at the first structure, 1, and look at the fifth structure. What is the connection? What isomers are they?
Chain.
Yes, they are chain isomers, right? Because here the chain length is 5, here it is 4. Or you can see the difference in root word. Here it is but, there it is pent. I'll call it as pent 1. Right? Okay. Now that is done. This is the only possibility with the 4-membered ring. With the double bond between second and third carbon atom, this is the only possibility because I cannot put the methyl group anywhere else. If I put it here, it is going to be same. Right? Now going to the 6th structure, now I can make the 4-membered chain to a 3-membered chain. Let us check whether it is possible or not first. Okay, let me make CH2 double bond C CH3, CH CH3, whatever. Right? Now I have to account for 2 carbon atoms. Right? And please understand, both the carbon atoms can come only in this position because these two are again terminal. I cannot put the CH3s there. Right? Now, can I put 2 CH3s like this? If I remove this hydrogen, can I put 2 CH3s like this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why?
That will become 5
Carbon
bonds.
will have 5.
Exactly. Now you see that this particular carbon is going to have 5 bonds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means this is not possible. Okay, structure number 6 is, this is not the case. You cannot have a 3-membered ring, sorry, 3-membered chain. Okay, so these are all the possible structures for straight chain compounds, right? 5 structures are there. Okay, now these are all straight chains. Right, now let us go for ring structures. Right, say in ring structure, I'll eliminate number 6. Okay, right, number 6, now normal cyclopentane, right, cyclopentane, right? Now, if I ask you, if I take the pairs 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, all of them are what isomers? This pair.
Ring chain.
All of them are ring chain isomers. All of them have, that is 1 and 6, or say 2 and 6, all of them have same molecular formula, but one is a ring, one is a ring. One is a chain, one is a ring. So it becomes a ring chain isomer. Okay, I think whomever was asking, I think it was Harshita or Hamsini, whomever was it. It is understood.
Hamsini, sir. Yes, sir.
Hamsini. Okay, yeah. Hamsini understood. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now got it.
Good, good. So this is the structure number 6. Structure number 7, right? There is no other go. I have to make it into a cyclobutane ring. And obviously I have to account for one methyl group. You can put the methyl group anywhere, only one structure possible. Right? Now again, 6 and 7 are called as what isomers?
Chain, sir.
Chain, again.
Ring chain.
No, they are not ring chain. Both of them are chains. Both of them are rings, right? But this thing is different, right? How will I call this? Cyclobutane. butane, obviously 1-methyl cyclobutane, but pent. Again, these two are chain isomers. The chain length is different. Are you able to get the point? Yes? No?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good. So again, 6 and 7 are going to be what? Chain isomers, because their root word is different. Everything is same, but the root word is different. Becomes a chain isomer. Okay. Structure number 8. There is no other possibility with 4-membered ring. Okay. The other possibility is going to be, me and my diagram skills are pathetic. Okay, right. So this is my cyclopropane ring. Right. Now I have to account for 2 methyl groups. Right. Now the first possibility is, in the same carbon atom, I can put the 2 methyl groups. Now the other possibility is, you can put one carbon, that is one methyl and another methyl in the consecutive carbon atoms. Again, this becomes a different structure. No other structure is possible. Okay, no other structure is possible.
Sir,
Okay.
another structure is possible.
What structure?
Sir, we can just put CH and then CH3CH2.
Yes. Another structure is C2H5. Now you see that there are 2 carbon atoms to be attached, 2 methyl groups. 2 methyl groups at different position. Now this becomes an ethyl group. Right? This also is another structure. So at least 10. Is this the structure you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is also possible. Right? So 4 ring structures and 5 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically 5 ring structures and 5 straight chain structures are possible. Right? So if I take any one from this, say I take any one of this and any one of this, that pair will become ring chain isomer. So 1 and 6, 2 and 7, say 5 and 10. Any 2 pair, any 2 compounds at a time you take, that pair will be called a ring chain isomer. Okay. I think most of the maximum number I got was 9, right? I think which was missing from you, Kanna? What is the one structure you missed?
So the last one.
Last one, C2H5. Yeah,
Yes.
that is a very common thing to miss. Even I would have missed it, but if I was not reminded, I would have missed it actually. Right? It's a very common thing to miss, but yeah, good attempt. Everybody, it was a very good attempt, whatever you did. Okay. Now, any compound given, at least the hydrocarbon part, right? You must be able to get the isomerisms out, all the isomers out, and between a pair, I will take 2 compounds at a time, 2 isomers at a time. You should tell me what kind of isomers they are, whether they are chain or position or ring chain isomers. Only 3 things we saw till now. Okay, I think we can stop with this for today. What is the time? Yeah, we can stop with this for today, right? So in next week, right, we'll be continuing with other type of isomers. Okay, anybody has any particular questions you want to ask me? Right, I hope everything.
Sir,
yeah, go on.
Sir, can you please explain in brief the common name, the neo and structure?
No, Kana, it will take some time. It will take some 10 minutes for me. Next class, no problem. Very simple only.
Okay, sir.
Right, next class we'll do. Okay, that is
Okay,
not,
sir, no problem.
not a big deal. We'll do it next class. And remind me, okay, if I generally forget this common, not forget the common names, forget to teach you the common names. Please remind me next class.
Sure, sir.
Right? Okay, I'll stop sharing. Right, and I think everybody is okay. Yeah. Yes, Madhumita.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, people. We'll meet again next week. I'm ending the class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.